and welcome in to be our guest. You know, education is key in our society. Education is key in our lives. Education is the foundation for everything we do.
Absolutely.
When there's a problem with drugs, if there's a problem with prisons, if there's a problem, it all is based on the fact that people are not brought up the right way with good foundations. Today we have with us Joanne Shum, and you are a candidate for the school board.
Yes,
and
for
this
the
is the
state school
state,
board.
the state school. It's not the
Yes.
local one.
Right.
And you know, I grew up in Chicago. I went to some public schools, went to some Catholic schools. I see that the biggest problem we have a lot of times in education is one word: discipline. People think that the kids run the classrooms rather than, so am I seeing things wrong, or?
Well, Jack, that certainly is a problem in too many of our schools, and
Right.
I believe that discipline starts at home.
Yes,
and
it does.
that if we could just talk our parents into making sure that they send those darling little angels to school with strict rules about you
Right,
are going
right.
to listen and learn, and you're going to mind your teacher. I mean, I think that's a basic that every teacher in Alabama would appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I would ask of our parents, is to just be mindful that if we want our schools to be good, we want our teachers to be able to teach, we want our classrooms to be orderly and well run.
I think, being a former teacher myself, I would have to say that respect for authority.
Yes.
And that goes not only for your
Oh, all the way
teachers, but
around.
for law enforcement, for
Yes,
anyone.
yes.
And I'd like to see that in the homes.
Yes, well,
Taught in the
Virginia,
homes.
I'm a retired education specialist with Montgomery Public Schools, and then after I left the classroom, I established the state office for the home instruction for parents of preschool youngsters.
Right.
And y'all will love the nickname. It is H.I.P.P.I.E. That's
Right.
the acronym. H.I.P.P.I.E.
Absolutely, and it's a great program.
It is a fantastic
Yes.
program, and Montgomery had the first flagship program, which I was very proud to be the coordinator. And as a matter of fact, Jack, in Virginia, I was honored by the National H.I.P.P.I.E. office as the outstanding coordinator for the nation. And it's the only time they ever
Wonderful.
made that distinction, and it was because of the fine work that the Montgomery community afforded our program. I mean, at one time, y'all, we had over 500
Great.
families in the program. Every single federal housing community had teachers that went into the home with lessons and books, and those parents learned how to support their children, how to stay involved in school, and the children, even though, you know, if it had not been for H.I.P.P.I.E. now, and the way they learned to write their name, to recognize their name, to match upper and lowercase letters, and to love books
Right.
and math and science experiments. Those are the things that the H.I.P.P.I.E. program brought into the home. And as the state director, I founded the state office. We expanded to 30 more counties.
Wonderful.
And
Great.
so I believe too, Virginia and Jack, that discipline is important,
Right.
and that it starts in the home young.
It definitely does. We
Young.
realize that, yeah.
What made you decide to run for this position?
Well, I love public education, and I see it under attack. I see it being destroyed. When I was going to school, there was not a private school on every corner. There was not a church with a school. There was not all of these things that we now have. We all supported public education. We don't support public education in our county very much, and that's the same in a lot of counties. And when you have this death of public education, I see it as a death knell for democracy.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, think about it, y'all. Our public school system passes on our culture, our values. It teaches people from different ethnic groups and backgrounds that we're all Americans, and that we salute the flag, and that we're patriotic, and
Right.
we believe in our democracy. That is being destroyed.
Let me ask you this. If you were elected, what would be the top 3 things you would do to go about changing the deteriorating situation we have with our public school system?
All right, for one thing, I would talk to the legislators that are passing some bills that are diverting funds, like the School Accountability Act, which has diverted millions and millions away from our school systems that we can't afford to lose. Another thing that I would do after I tried to talk to them into supporting our schools instead of privatizing them every chance they get, I would get with the superintendents in all 16 counties that District 5 represents, and I would say, how can I help you and your teachers and your parents? Because we don't need to have failing schools. We need to do everything we can, and there's a lot we can do.
Right.
If we put the creativity and initiative and belief in public education into some ideas that work, by getting groups together and saying, let's save our public schools. Another thing I want to see happen is that we have better arts, that we have language in elementary school,
Right.
and that we have schools that are children friendly. If I walk into the lunchroom and nobody's talking, I'm upset.
Amen.
I'm
Amen.
upset. If I think we ought to bring back recess.
We're going to get you come back again in January and February. Okay,
Thank
if
you,
you're willing
Jack.
to, because we need to learn a little bit more about this. If a person wants to get a hold of you, are you already have a site up
I've got a
for your-
website, and
Okay.
I would love support because
Okay.
there are a lot of people running for Ella Bell's position.
Sure.
I ran against her
Yep.
in 2016, so I tried then unsuccessfully,
Okay.
but I'm trying again. JoanneShum.com.
Good, very easy, and just remember this, education is very important. Look and see the platforms of the candidates that are running. Make sure you choose wisely, and we'll be right back right after this.
Yes.